World's most advanced controller. These 4 words are often used by Microsoft to advertise the Elite Series 2, and boy, those words blew up right in their faces. After owning the Elite Series 1, 2 Elite Series 2s, the Razer Wolverines, the PowerA Fusion Pro, and getting to test out multiple different SCUF controllers, I can definitively say the Elite Series 2 is not the best controller on the market, not anywhere close. But it's not nearly as bad as I remember it being. In fact, it's actually a pretty good controller. Wait for it. In some categories. There you go. See what I did there? I got the comment section excited for a second. I know what I'm doing. If you completely disregard reliability and pricing, the Elite Series 2 is one of the best controllers on the market. But unfortunately, those 2 things weigh it down so much it prevents it from claiming the coveted best controller name tag in the Minecraft chest that's literally right next to it. Today I'll be updating my views and opinions on the Elite Series 2 here in 2021, and why I really don't see it personally as the best. As always, I'll be going over things like paddles, trigger stops, and other unique features, and giving my brutally honest opinions on them. As always, hurting someone else's fucking feelings. That's a given. I'm here to be honest, not to please. I know a ton of people have been waiting for this video, so sit your chair back at a 45-degree angle, pop that corn, doctor that pepper, and let's get right into it. Before we talk about my current opinions on this controller, we need to go over my old ones. This is going to be fun. My memories of the Elite Series 2 go something like,
why is it so big?
My hands
These
hurt.
paddles feel fucking weird.
Why is it
so heavy?
I want to fucking die. But to be honest, now that I've had all of the previously mentioned Pro controllers, this thing feels fine. I've had controllers that are the same size and shape as this one, but infinitely more uncomfortable. I've also had controllers that are somehow heavier than this thing, and that makes it even more uncomfortable. Video very, very soon, by the way. Alright, let me just do this. Let me do a quick once-over of all the things I was wrong about. Paddles. They are actually really nice. Super tactile, in great positions, and they are super, super stable. Not as tactile as the Razer Wolverine buttons, or any button on that controller really, but they're still pretty tactile, nicely positioned, super stable. I love them. This thing isn't as big or as bulky as I remember it being either. I remember this controller basically being the Microsoft Elite Duke controller, and I think that had more to do with the rubberized faceplate, which is really, really great, by the way. It's not like the Elite Series 1, where it's like sticky, jizz, terrible bullshit. God, the Series 1 sucks. The thumbsticks are something I didn't talk about all that often unless I was talking about stick drift. These things, while they are about as reliable as a politician, they are the smoothest thumbsticks on the planet, no doubt, hands down. And it's due to a very, very simple design from Microsoft that I'll be going over here in a minute, and I recommend all Pro controller companies do this. Overall, I gotta say, the Elite Series 2 doesn't really take last place in any category, aside from, like, reliability, obviously. Scratch that, that's a first fucking place finish. But once you pair the Elite Series 2 with the 1-year warranty Microsoft has given it, it's kind of a hard deal to ignore. However, y'all know what I'm about to say. Microsoft is scamming people with that warranty. That warranty was released 2 weeks before the controller turned a year old. A year after the controller came out. So people who bought this controller day one, like myself, if you didn't know within that 2-week time span and something had happened to your controller relatively soon after you bought it, you were screwed. I can already hear people in the comments saying, no, you can take it back if it's a couple of days or a couple of weeks out of warranty. No, you can't. Because I've had multiple people in my comment section tell me they've done that, and Microsoft told them to go fuck themselves, even though the warranty was a couple of days after its expiration date. You cannot sit here and tell me Microsoft is pro-consumer or did that because of the lawsuit, because the lawsuit was filed all the way back in April. They did this to look good. People praised them for it. I gave them a bit of praise in my video critiquing them, but to be honest, this is a scam. But if you're someone who plans on buying the Elite Series 2 nowadays and didn't actually own one prior to the 1-year warranty extension, that's a different story we'll talk about here in a little bit. Okay? Guess my first real talking point in this video was the warranty. That was unexpected, but let's get back to this controller. So, The paddles. Going a bit more in depth, this is a area where I was very, very happy to be wrong. As I said earlier, the Elite Series 2 has some of the most reliable and some of the most tactile paddles on the market. Paddles, not buttons, again. With the only real downside of these paddles being the time it takes to remap them, which is kind of annoying. The software is something I'll make an entirely separate video on. I'll probably link someone down in the description below if you're curious about the software, but these things are great and they're not positioned too far back or too far up front on the controller. They're really nice. The matte paint on these paddles feels nice, but it only feels nice. In fact, matte paint on metal makes it really slippery, which is why I only recommend you do it on plastic things like the bumpers and triggers, which is a nice segue into our next section, which is the triggers and the trigger stops. Wow. Wow. Number 1 trigger stops, by far. 3 different levels, all extremely responsive and so unbelievably stable that it literally blew my mind out the back of my head. My favorite color is red, like the bloodshed from Kurt Cobain's head when he shot himself dead. If you don't know that song, too young to be here. The trigger stops on this controller are god tier, especially in first-person shooters. Oh my god, it's like they turned the triggers into buttons. It's a much better experience than, gotta say it, any other controller I've tried. That's the only thing this bitch is getting. The triggers, thumbsticks, only things they're getting. The triggers, while they are, in my opinion, one of the best features about this controller, they are also the 3rd most complained about, with the order being trigger stops, stick drift, A button failure. Go figure, huh? One more downside I can see with these triggers, though, is that, and something I didn't notice before, these are tensioned triggers. Like, these have a decent amount of tension, too. Like, the Wolverines, the Fusion Pros, even though some of those controllers do have a bit of tension, it's nowhere near the Xbox controllers. It's not even close. The Wolverine feels like I'm just pushing it down with no force at all. The Elite Series 2 feels like I'm kind of having to put some force in to keep the trigger down, which makes racing games annoying as hell. Annoying as all hell. But goddamn, it is worth it. It is so worth it, dude. You're also getting a nice diamond grip texture on the triggers, but my favorite part when it comes to grip on this controller has to be the matte finish on both the bumpers and the triggers, which, again, like I've said in previous videos and earlier, matte equals grip. Gloss equals slip. I suppose since we're already up here on the front of the controller, we could talk about the bumpers. Uneventful, bland, Xbox bumpers, unreliable as hell, moving on. Another point I suppose I can give the Elite Series 2 on the leaderboard of pro controllers is, it's probably one of the best wireless controllers out there. Holy fuck! That hurt to say, It's got a 40-hour battery life, and it's built in, but, I don't know anything about the battery life of this thing. I plug it into my PC, and I keep it plugged into my PC. Moving on. I don't know if y'all are ready. These thumbsticks, bang! Microsoft must have had a oh shit, I'm Jesus moment, but the thumbsticks themselves are chrome. The anti-friction rings are glossy black. Stroke of genius. These things are so smooth. Literally nothing even comes close. It's like I fell into a black hole and ended up in a universe where Eminem, modern Eminem, is good as hell, Twitter doesn't exist, thumbsticks feel and perform amazingly, and my controller doesn't cost as much as my computer parts. Adding more on top of this amazing cake pie thing, whatever, the included thumbsticks are amazing too. For the right, I personally use the extended stick and I use the stock stick on the left, but the rest of the included sticks are absolutely godly. And yes, I did try my PS4 Control Freaks on the super wide ones, and they do work. But like I've said in previous videos, if you put a Control Freak on a controller that's this expensive and already comes with an extended stick, I should be allowed to shoot you in the face. The stock sticks are cool, the wide ones are cooler, the extended stick, in my opinion, is the most efficient, and the dome tip, no one gives a fuck about that. Aiming, especially in my first-person shooter games where it's fast paced, it's extremely great, but I can't really recommend this for first-person shooters. I'll tell you guys why later.
This is how you eat a Big Mac, nigga.
And I suppose one more thing, or the last thing people would be curious about these thumbsticks, is the tension tightening. Look, it's simple and not all that eventful, and to be honest, I don't really mess with it because I don't want stick drift and I don't know what that does to the thumbstick modules themselves. You basically have stock Xbox One controller tension, and then you have Xbox 360 controller tension, and that's essentially it. Classic players, there you go. Faceplate buttons. I'm having a tough time, guys. I really am. I like the D-pad, and the buttons, the ABXY buttons are passable, but like, this bitch lifts up every single time you press it even slightly too hard. Or if you're all the way off on the edge or something, it lifts up a lot, and it's annoying. But I can stop thinking about that. What I cannot stop thinking about is the matte finish on this little shitty iron ingot that is so slippery. It's... Stop putting matte on metal things. All in all, faceplate buttons, they're passable. I'll give them a C+. However, the profile switcher button, that's special. That gets an A+. You get space for 3 onboard profiles, which is pretty dope. But in short, you get 3. You have custom button mappings, custom vibration settings, thumbstick sensitivity curves, trigger sensitivities. You can literally do everything with this controller. Unfortunately, I have to give it another point on the Pro Controller board. I don't want to keep giving it points. The accessories of these Pro Controllers are pretty much the same. I'm just going to go over them real quick. The case is always God tier with these Pro Controllers. Okay. Charger, braided, USB-C, 10 foot long. Super fast, by the way. You can also plug it into the charge dock in the case, and then boom, it's charging in the case. Holy frick, 9th dimension. Yeah, you also got your thumbstick tightening thing and your thumbsticks. Moving on. Oh boy. We're already at the conclusion. Okay. Alright, guys. I came here to do a job. I came here and I come on this camera twice a week. I don't come on my camera. I put myself in front of this camera twice a week to be as honest as I can about the products that I am either sent or buy. This time is no different. If I'm being 100% honest with you guys, yeah, it does come with a 1-year warranty, but Microsoft support is a lot like Razer support. It is a complete coin toss whether or not Microsoft support is going to resolve the issue quickly or take literally months to do it. Both situations I myself have lived through. That being said, there are a couple of groups I could recommend this controller to. Wireless players, and if you're a wireless player, then you really aren't, I'm not gonna...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And, casuals. That's about it. People who play wirelessly are more likely to play more casually. They're likely to be a little less hard on their controllers. On top of that, people who play casually are not going to wear this controller down in a matter of months. If you play first-person shooters, third-person shooters, you're going to wear this controller out in under a year. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And I really just can't recommend this to anyone who plays any intense or even mildly intense games because the bumpers, the triggers, the thumbsticks, the ABXY buttons, these things are not meant to be used in the way that they're used. Microsoft knows sweaty motherfuckers are the ones buying Pro Controllers. But these things are just not manufactured to take that beating. They're like German cars. They look nice and they're expensive, but they're unreliable as fuck and kind of unnecessarily expensive both to repair and buy. Yes, no Pro Controller is impervious to its issues. I know this better than literally anyone. But the Elite Series 2 is just so prone to failure. It's so prone to failure. I can't recommend it to anyone but casuals. That's pretty much it. And a casual is not really likely to go out and spend $200 on a controller, so I suppose it's just up to you, dude. I've given you all the things that are good and bad about this controller. If you still want to believe Microsoft's shit, and you still want to believe that it's not going to be any type of hassle with the warranty, it might not be. But if you want to believe Microsoft's shit, and if you want to continue to eat their shit, go ahead and buy this thing. But other than that, buy a fucking Wolverine. Buy a Fusion Pro. You can buy 2 Fusion Pros and have money left over instead of buying an Elite Series 2. With all that being said, though, I think my work here is done. I actually really like the Elite Series 2. I've come to love a lot of its features, and even accept some of its faults, because some of its faults are actually a lot more common than most people would think. But I think I've done my job. I've been as honest as I can. I've given genuine recommendations from the bottom of my heart, so I think we're good. Hope you guys enjoyed. I got a ton more videos coming out about this thing, those things, this thing. Oh yeah, spoiler alert too. I've seen a lot of people in the comment section saying they've been going through controllers like, if you are going through 10 controllers a year, buy this and that. A mouse, a keyboard. I just pointed to the opposite things. These aren't going to break, and if they do, usually they come with 2-year warranties, okay? Is my mouse gonna get stick drift? Is my mouse gonna get stick drift? I don't think so. Alright, I'm losing my mind. I have to shout out our members before I go. And, yeah. I'd love to give a huge shout out to our members, JG, Waterless, God, Exo Casper, Noah Jacques, Ninzaki, Maynard Lano, Young, Rockstar, Mr. Deadeye, and our newest member, Jin J4. Am I done? I think I'm fucking done. Did I get this knocked out in a single try? I'm a god. Members, love you boys. So fucking much. I want to do more for you soon. I know I've been saying that for the past couple of videos. I've just been so fucking swamped, and this video is 40 minutes long. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have such an edit to do, so I'll probably end up saying that the same shit next video or whatever. I hope you enjoyed. If you did,